Good morning, everyone. I am Junelia Eslava, the second reporter for today. So my topic is about constructive feedback and the principles of constructive feedbacking. So what is constructive feedback? When we say constructive feedback, it is a supportive feedback given to individuals to help identify solutions to areas of weakness they may have. Therefore, it comes with positive intentions and is used as a supportive communication tool to address specific issues or concerns. Next is, we have the purpose of constructive feedback. The purpose of constructive feedback is to give feedback to an individual in a way that will lead to improvements or corrections. This is important as it enhances personal and professional growth in individuals. For example, constructive feedback can improve employee morale, reduce confusion regarding expectations and current performance, provide a new perspective, and give valuable insight to the person receiving feedback, and lastly, positively impact an individual's behavior. Next, we have the making feedback constructive. Destructive feedback points at faults and is a direct attack on the individual. In destructive feedback, no practical advice or supportive feedback is given. Examples of destructive feedback include, "You're wrong. That is not how you do things around here. You have no idea what you are doing." And here are some tips for making feedback constructive. First, we have to focus on observation and not interference. Constructive feedback should relate to what you can see or hear about that person's behavior rather than making assumptions and interpretations. Second, focus on behavior and not the individual. Constructive feedback should be about what the individual did rather than who the individual is. Third, focus on things that can be changed. Constructive feedback should be about things that a person can change and improve on rather than on something that is out of his or her control. Fourth, we have provide recommendations and solutions. Constructive feedback should include a specific solution or recommendation. We have another examples of constructive feedback here. John has been an employee at your company for 6 months. Lately, he seems disengaged and not motivated to work. A response can be, "I have noticed that you don't seem as motivated to do work as you usually do, and it makes me feel like I am doing something wrong. If there are reasons as to why you are feeling this way, I would love to talk with you about it. I think if we meet up once a week to check up on everything, you could be much happier." The second example will be, "Michelle has been constantly showing up late for work." A response can be, "When you show up late to work every day, it irritates me because it feels like you are letting our team down. The hours are 9 to 3 and when you show up late to work, it has a negative impact on our team. What do you think? From now on, I really need you to arrive to work on time and change your behavior." Third example. Carol has recently taken a more backseat role in her position as a manager. A response can be, I noticed that you are not taking as much responsibility and initiative as you used to. It makes me feel like I have not done a good job. Did I say or do something that would make you react this way? I would love for you to address any problems or concerns you have. Lastly, how to give constructive feedback. So, here are 5 steps for giving constructive feedback. First, state the purpose of your feedback. State what you will be talking about and why it is important. Next, describe what you have observed and your reaction. Clearly identify the action or event and how it makes you or other members feel. Third, give the individual an opportunity to respond. After you have stated the purpose, importance, observation, and your reaction, ask the person what they think about it. Fourth, offer specific suggestions or solutions. After you hear the individual out, give input as to how the situation can be improved. And lastly, summarize everything discussed. Summarize everything that was discussed to avoid any misunderstandings. Also, summarizing helps ensure that the constructive feedback was communicated efficiently. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. Principles for constructive feedback. Constructive feedback does not mean only giving positive feedback. Negative feedback, given skillfully, can be very important and useful. Destructive feedback means that which is given in an unskilled way, which leaves the participant simply feeling bad, with seemingly nothing on which to build or options for using the learning. The first principle will be, start with the positive. When offering feedback, it can really help the receiver to hear first what to like about them or what they have done well. Example will be, I really like the way you responded to Allison. However, on this occasion, I did feel that you made an assumption about her without checking it out. Our culture tends to emphasize the negative. Therefore, the focus is likely to be on mistakes more often than strengths. In a rush to criticize, we may overlook the things we liked. If the positive is registered first, any negative is more likely to be listened to and acted upon. Second principle, be specific. Statements such as, you were brilliant or it was awful may be pleasant or dreadful to hear, but they do not give enough detail to be a useful source of learning. Try to pinpoint what the person did which led you to use the label brilliant or awful. The way you asked that question just at that moment was really helpful. Or, by responding that way, you seemed to be imposing your views on the student. A specific feedback gives more opportunity for learning. Third, we have the refer to behavior that can be changed. It is not likely to be helpful to give a person feedback about something over which they have no choice or control. Example, the size of the student group is too big, is not offering information about which the person can do very much. On the other hand, to be taught that it may help to think of ways of breaking the size of the group down. You can give a person something on which to work. Fourth, offer alternatives. Turn negative feedback into a positive suggestion. Example, you could try breaking the large group down into smaller groups and use activities such as small-scale research projects and seminar presentations. Fifth, be descriptive rather than evaluate. Tell the person what you saw or heard and the effect it had on you, rather than merely something was good, bad, etc. Example, your tone of voice you said that made me feel that you were concerned is more likely to be useful than that was good. Next, own the feedback. It can be easy to say to the other person, you are, suggesting that you are offering a universally agreed opinion about the person. In fact, all we are entitled to give is our own experience of that person at a particular time. It is also important that we take responsibility for the feedback we offer, beginning with I. For example, I thought that, or using in my opinion, is a way of avoiding the impression of being the giver of cosmic judgments about the other person. And lastly, leaving the recipient with a choice. Feedback which demands change or is imposed heavily on the other person may invite resistance and is not consistent with a belief in each of us being personally autonomous. It does not involve telling someone how they must be to suit us. Skilled feedback offers people information about themselves, which leaves them with a choice about whether to act or how to act. It can also help to examine the consequences of any decision to change or not to change, but does not involve prescribing change. That is all my report for today. Thank you for listening and God bless.